Welcome back to the show. Today we've got a packed episode covering some of the biggest political moves happening right now, from President Trump revoking Joe Biden's security clearance to major cuts at USAID to new negotiations between the US and Ukraine. There's a lot to break down. So let's get right into it. In a move that's already making waves, President Donald Trump has officially revoked former President Joe Biden's security clearance. Now, to give some context, traditionally, former presidents have had the privilege of retaining their security clearances, allowing them to receive intelligence briefings even after leaving office. It's not a guaranteed right, but it's been common practice. Back in 2021, when Biden took office, he blocked Trump from receiving these briefings, citing concerns about his so-called erratic behavior. Fast forward to today, Trump is calling this a precedent set by Biden himself. He's also pointing to special counsel Robert Hur's recent report, which described Biden as an elderly man with a poor memory, as further justification for his decision. While no charges were filed against Biden over classified documents, Trump is using that report as fuel for this latest move. Next up, massive cuts are coming to the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. According to sources, the Trump administration is planning to slash the workforce from over 10,000 employees down to just 294. Let that sink in. An agency that managed over $40 billion in aid last year will now be operating with a skeleton crew. The Africa and Asia bureaus, they'll be left with just 12 and 8 staff members, respectively. Meanwhile, all direct hire employees have been placed on leave, raising serious concerns about ongoing life-saving programs. The administration, led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, says this is part of a broader plan to merge USAID with the State Department, but that would require congressional approval. Critics, including former USAID Administrator J. Brian Atwood, are calling this move catastrophic, saying a lot of people will not survive. And to make matters worse, Trump and Elon Musk have claimed, without any evidence, that USAID staff engaged in criminal activity. The agency's website now confirms that only mission-critical personnel will remain, with thousands of employees already receiving termination notices. Shifting gears to South America, Colombian President Gustavo Petro has made headlines with a statement comparing cocaine to whiskey. Yes, you heard that right. During a ministerial meeting, Petro claimed that cocaine is only illegal because it's produced in Latin America, not because it's more harmful than alcohol. He went on to argue that if the world really wanted to dismantle drug trafficking, the solution would be simple: just legalize cocaine. Now Colombia is the world's largest producer of the drug, and under Petro's administration, coca leaf cultivation has actually increased. The United Nations reported a 10% rise in cultivation and a massive 53% spike in potential cocaine production in 2023 alone. Whether or not this statement signals a policy shift remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: his comments are already sparking international backlash. Meanwhile, President Trump is looking to strike a new deal with Ukraine, one that would tie continued U.S. military aid to access to the country's rare earth minerals. According to Trump, the U.S. has been sending money hand over fist to Ukraine, and now he wants something in return. While the White House hasn't clarified whether this includes just rare earth elements or extends to other valuable materials like lithium and titanium, Ukraine's victory plan already includes partnerships involving uranium, graphite, and more. With rare earth minerals being essential for everything from military tech to electric vehicles, this proposed trade-off could have significant economic and geopolitical implications. We'll be watching closely to see how this plays out. Attorney General Pam Bondi has just ordered a freeze on federal funding for sanctuary cities. Major cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles have laws limiting cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. And now, the Justice Department is reviewing whether those jurisdictions are in compliance with federal law. The grants on hold include funding for law enforcement and even programs supporting victims of domestic violence under the Violence Against Women Act. Bondi's office says this is all part of Trump's plan to secure the border and crack down on illegal immigration, but opponents argue this will hurt public safety in those cities. And finally, a major controversy is brewing over Elon Musk's decision to rehire Marco Elias, a former Treasury Department staffer who resigned after racist and eugenicist tweets surfaced. Musk, alongside Vice President J.D. Vance and President Trump, has defended Elias, saying that social media posts shouldn't ruin a kid's life. But some of the tweets in question, including statements like "normalize Indian hate" and "just for the record, "I was racist before it was cool" have sparked major backlash. Elez was previously part of Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, which was tasked with cutting federal spending and shrinking the government workforce. And despite concerns about his past statements, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is still backing him, saying, "These are highly trained professionals." That's it for today's update. A lot is happening and things are moving fast. If you found this episode informative, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.